So the next slide here. So I've been following you on your blog, as I mentioned, and you talk often about serendipity. So can you explain us, how powerful is this?
Sure.
What it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone knows about the Newton's apple, right? Fell on his head, and and the story of the popsicle, right? So the popsicle was invented because there was a gentleman, I forget what he was, around the turn of the last century. He left a glass outside with a stick in it, with some water or some soda in it, right? And the next morning it was really cold, and he came out, and the stuff had frozen and it stuck to the stick, and he pulled it out, and there was like a stick with it was like a stir stick, and it had the ice, the ice on it. And so, well, this is pretty good. And then a few years later, he patented the concept of a popsicle. So like a serendipity, he just sort of left it out there. It just happened, and boom, this is what he invented. So it's the same with a lot of innovation. A lot of innovation comes from just sort of this happy accident that just occurs when two things just sort of slam together. And so the thing is, how do you engineer that, right? How do you get people to put themselves in situations where things could just occur like that, right? And you don't do that by sort of coming into your office, sitting down at your desk, sitting in front of your computer for the entire day, and then getting up, getting in your car, driving home, and sitting in front of your TV all night, right? I mean, you don't get that by doing the exact same thing day after day after day after day. So you have to encourage your employees to do something different all the time. So instead of saying, oh, you got to come in 9 to 5 every day, you say, well, come in the days you want to come in and stay home the days you want to stay home. And then tell people, don't work from home, work from a coffee shop, or work from here, or go to a park and work, or whatever. Give them, wireless internet access so they can work from anywhere, sit on a carnival ride or whatever. It's like, get to place yourself physically in different locations where different things can happen to you, and you can have different experiences. And when all these different experiences sort of come together, they'll trigger other things in your mind. Because every time you're reading, seeing something new and different, physically moving, there's different neurons triggering in your head. And it's making these connections between two different things. I was in a meeting the other day where somebody sort of took I found a whiteboard marker, right? And those whiteboard markers, I have my whiteboard here. Whiteboard markers are, there's ones that are just like regular ones, and there's ones that have a scent, right?
Yep.
So the scent, he actually said, oh, I don't have the scented ones today. And that triggered a whole set of new innovations or inventions out of that session. So somebody said scented markers, and the whole concept of scented markers turned into a whole set of patentable ideas. Yep. And it was like, because the guy happened to say scented markers, or say the guy just happened to have scented markers in the meeting, that created a whole new set of things. So it's like, and you have to have at the same time, your mind has to be open to those sorts of things, right? Yep. Because a lot of times you're just thinking, oh, scented markers, yeah, whatever, no big deal. But then you think, okay, how is this new input? How can I take this new input that just came in and throw it against the wall and blend it with other things and see if something new can come out of it? Yep. And that happens. So getting yourself in new situations, getting yourself putting yourself in situations where new things can happen. That's why, I'm a big fan of sort of meeting new people and talking to new people and just reaching out to people and just making those connections. And those things will start happening. It's very cool when those things happen.
Yep, and coming back to a prior question where corporations are asking employees to mingle, so that's really good because it creates that serendipity, right?
Yep.
I also highly believe in this, and when you were talking, I was thinking of Steve Jobs, who talks about connecting the dots and not being afraid to, doing different things, and even if people are not sure what it's going to lead to, right? Have faith that it's going to lead into something. And I do believe in this, also like you, meeting new people, going to conferences, going maybe to a meetup that you would have never had the idea to go, maybe for a topic that you don't even like.
Even if it has nothing to do with anything, right? I mean, the other day I went to a meetup for Canadians, ex-Canadian meetup, right? Yeah. And no technologists there, no futurists there, no innovators there, but we had some really great conversations, and we talked about all sorts of interesting things, which triggered some more new ideas and new innovations when I got back here. So it's kind of like, you have to be open-minded to everything that's happening, and you have to continually sort of throw new stimuli. So there's two things. There's throwing the new stimuli at yourself in order to trigger new connections and juxtapositions, and also sort of spending the time to just think. So like that's what I love about Zen Buddhism. It's like meditate. So like just think, clear your mind. And once you start clearing your mind of things, then other things will start popping in there and make connections for you. So there's the overload yourself with stimuli, get the stimuli going, and then you have time to sort of sit back and think and just sort of let things bubble up from inside your head.
And California is the perfect place for that, right?
Let me get my yoga mat right now.
Yeah.